Welcome everyone to the Beef Tub. Hope you all tongue your beef before you eat it. I'm Walker with my lovely co-host Ola, the Ebola.
Ebola.
That's him saying hi.
Anyways, do you have a fun fact, Walker?
I think the overall plot twist of the podcast is like in the end it was just me talking to myself the entire time.
That could probably be true. Oh, you're talking about that'd be funny if my end doesn't record and your end record, and I send it out to the internet and it's just you talking to yourself. That could happen. It's called the Schizo podcast.
The what?
Schizo podcast. Schizo.
Oh, okay.
Fucking know how to pronounce
Schizo.
it. A fun fact. Every day your immune system is fighting a cell that can cause cancer.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
What's that cell? And why haven't we removed it?
Well, I mean, they don't know. They don't know. I mean, it's if that cell does like survive, it becomes like cancer into your system.
That just that just sounds like you're fighting an imaginary friend. Or it's just like one of those things where it's you're a hypochondriac.
I was like, yeah, they're probably right too. They're like, maybe they're not waking it up every time they're sick.
Oh, but shit. I sneeze. Cancer.
Well, don't. Hopefully, keeping up with your vitamins and keep your immune system strong.
Best way is take vitamin C through your butthole.
Yeah. Put an orange in there.
Just half a peel, it just comes out your butt. Anyways, that is fun. Not fun for the people going through it, but it's fun. It's fun for the family apparently, because the whole family has it. Anyways, my fun fact is Amazon Alexa has a feature where it can mimic the voice of dead relatives.
Oh, how do you do that?
I don't know. It's super weird, but it's just the idea that like it'll mimic your dead relatives for comfort, but it's like design phase is just like, the fuck were you thinking? Because there's no.
Maybe that starts a conspiracy. Maybe it's trying to. Amazon's building a whole system where eventually you can upload your whole thoughts and your brain onto the cloud and server.
Yes, but like I agree with you there, but the other thing is just like the execution of it is very awkward. Like, why present the possibility of something as disturbing as voice? It's like that shouldn't be the forefront of that technology. Let's just say that.
I mean, if computers can mimic a voice to mimic like a real person, I don't know. I mean, it might be saying, "Hey, we have something in place where we can do that now," and it's like Tony Stark. It's like Tony Stark uploaded his brain onto the cloud right now. I don't know. I think that's a possibility.
I don't know. But you hear your grandma's voice, and then she would recommend products to you through Amazon. you get 2-day shipping.
That's funny. That's funny.
But
I mean, yeah, like, or convince you like, oh, to buy stuff.
see, but that's the thing. It's just tapping into something so personal and sort of like, it's sort of like exploiting it in that sense. Or if things just get creepy, then just like the last thing I want to hear is a dead person's voice, you know. And you know, it's I don't know. I just feel like it's one of those things that just I like. If that's the case, that's cool in concept, but it's just like there's no follow up to it. there's no follow up to why that's necessary or why that's there, or even if it is, like if it's there to help people like cope with loss or whatever, you don't fucking do that. All right.
You don't,
fucking
but
you don't skip the 5 stages of like grief.
but
Like
what if,
there's a new stage in grief is don't deal with it.
I mean, what if the thing is like, what if the person who's dying say, hey, you know, I want to live on forever. Can you put my whole brain onto a computer chip, put it in the computer
That's
server,
different if you
and then live
that's different if you put the brain. Yeah, but that's different. You're putting a brain, you're putting a personality. That's an entirely different element. But if you're just maintaining just voice, then there's no point to that shit, you know, except to tell you to go shopping.
Yeah,
And it just doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know. Mathematically, it doesn't make sense to me. It's just like it would be cool if there's an additional purpose to the voice, but all I can see is like a psychological exploitation of of something that doesn't need to be, and just not allowing someone to kind of like just like deal, or someone is just really perverted and just like I just want to hear you. I want to hear your voice when I put this like speaker into my sex doll.
that's the other thing too. I mean, it's either a few things when things get invented. It's either for sex
Yeah.
or for war. Mm-hmm. So
then suddenly every sex doll in America has Cola's voice.
Yeah. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Anyways, that's very interesting. Waka, what's the topic for today?
Speaking of sex dolls, the topic for today is what do you always lose at in life to this day? So the premise for this is pretty much there are some fights in life or just struggles, events, or whatever that still can overcome us, or just we don't have a solution to some of life's problems, but we still do it knowing, or we still do it regardless of how often we do lose at it too. And sometimes it's subconscious, or sometimes it's just like, I don't know, you're a masochist or something. But yeah. So, I mean, just a light way to kind of introduce the topic is, you know, one thing I still lose at to this day is, you know, I always lose my temper. That's my thing. Like, no matter how calm I can make myself, it's just not that it's losing my temper to the point where it's actually a problem, because there's also times in our lives where we do lose our tempers. Some of us more than others. I think I fall into the category of slightly more, but it's there's a lot of things that can set me off pretty well. Although I consider myself a fairly patient person, it's still like when I lose my temper, I still lose my temper, and it probably just regurgitates itself a lot worse than other people. So yeah, just kind of give us a premise for this. But what you got for us, Cola?
I was thinking of something else. I was thinking of, I think the amount of times I like try to learn a musical instrument, I can't do it.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine, dude.
Yeah,
like,
I can't.
That's
I can't.
actually one tip.
I can't do it. Like even, I mean, I even got a ukulele in practice. I don't have that rhythm. I don't have those count. I can't even like. I can't even do that. It's like even if I try. but like yeah, like trying to do it. Like I mean, that was like a New Year's resolution, right? To do that, but it's like I can't do it. I don't have that rhythm. Even if I'm looking at people doing, like I don't know, I messed up on it. So I mean, I wish I had the ability to do it, but no, like even pianos, drumming and stuff like that, I can't do it. Forget it. I don't have that rhythm or that beat, right? And other people do, right? So I'm a little jealous when they like know how to play an instrument, but I learned that fairly young. I think when I was we were trying to learn how to. They were offering learn instruments and stuff, and you had a list and you pick which one. I picked the clarinet, right? You know what the clarinet is? Like I was just learning how to play and like I couldn't get it.
That's what
right?
Squidward has.
Like, forget it. Yeah, right. It's like what Squidward had. But this is so like I was learning how to play that and like I couldn't get it. So even the basic song, but like I couldn't get it. So I like quit after 3 weeks and like forget it. I'm not gonna learn this. Then
my music
I just don't have it.
My music teacher was like, everyone, you get recorders. Walker, you get a rape flute. Just call for help. When you get fucked in life.
Yeah.
But
I wish I had those abilities, but like sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't, right?
Yeah.
Like forget it.
And it's just yeah. And so have you ever, but even when you tried, did you ever feel like you got any level of progression out of it?
Nope.
Really?
Not at all. Even, for watching,
it's like a month later, you have the same exact motion, making the same exact noise.
I think after the amount of like YouTube videos and stuff and trying to learn things, forget it. I just gave up on it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I know that's why I know where I'm good at, so and not good at. So, more power to people who can play the instrument.
Are you still hopeful of attaining that skill one day?
Nah, forget it. No, forget it.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna be like the old guy who's sitting there is like, yeah, I'm gonna learn how to play. Like,
no. Let me play you ABC. Come on, that's all I know.
Nope, not even gonna try. I'm not gonna even try. But I think this goes for all instruments. If I was ever to like go on an Amazing Race and there's like a music challenge, forget it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Even when we play Rock Band, I said fuck Rock Band. I'm like fuck Rock Band. I'm not playing this shit.
What about singing?
I could do singing, but not Rock Band. But not rock. That's what I always do. If we do Rock Band, I do the karaoke part. Forget it. But like,
I can read, motherfucker.
Yeah. That's what I can do. But like, it makes a lot of sense when you do those games that require like those timing stuff. Forget it. Like what's it, Dance Revolution and stuff like that. And I was seeing other people doing it, so I can't do it.
That's interesting, because then it's just like, I think that was one game that taught me like how to follow a rhythm. Like that was probably the most effective in doing so. And then not like not like the game would teach you really how to dance. Like let's be honest. I mean,
Well, you don't know how to
like
stop
maybe
and dance in real. Stop
I
and
mean,
dance
the
on the
most
dance floor.
I think I think the most I saw people learn from that is like how to shuffle, like shuffle their feet, and then like I think even one dude slipped on one side and he banged his head against the wall.
Wait, did that happen in real life?
Yeah, and it was because then it's just like you hear all the shuffling and it's like, damn, this one was hella good. And immediately after I thought that, I just went whoop, boom. And it's just like you just hear that like I hear that like so loud in the arcade. Like it was actually heard over all the loudness of the arcade. And then I think that's what made it the funniest of all. I mean, it was fucked up, but it's like, and luckily the guy was okay, but it just sounded so funny because it's not something I expected at all. It's like the man is dancing so well, but at the end when he hit his head, it's just like, so was that just a whole thing of him trying to keep himself on his feet before he hits the wall? But yeah. Uh, but yeah, those like some of those games like did teach me about rhythms and
Papa the rappa papa. I
no,
forgot what it's
no,
called.
I never actually played it.
Oh,
Yeah, but yeah. So that's the one, huh? Where it's like you can't pick up musical instruments.
I can't. I'm coordinated, but I can't do the timing, music, make things work. I'm like, forget it. I can't. That
Okay.
sucks.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. So I guess one for me would always, yes, it would be instruments, but um, one for me would always be learning another language
Uh-huh.
because it's not even that I was bad at it. It's more like I will work up to a certain point where I get good, where I can communicate, and then immediately drop off. Like it's just like full stop. I'm not learning anymore. I don't need it right now. So move on with my day and just do that. So um, yeah, it's one of those where I don't I don't fully learn a language, but when I do learn it, I get fairly decent at it fairly fast. I can't say I'm really good at it, um, but it's just the attention span that's there, man. Like it's another level because it's just like learning language is a passion, but at the same time, it's like you know like you're learning an entire history, culture, and context behind things. So it's interesting, but at the same time, every time I come to it and like I start getting some momentum on it, there's a point where it just kind of like falls off and stops. And then I just either don't visit again, or when I do revisit it, I'm just like, oh yeah, I remember that, and I remember that, but it's not the same. Like I don't retain the same like level of competency behind language. So, I mean that's always been a big one. Um, learning my native language to properly communicate with my parents. That sucks, but at the same time, it's like figuring out like different creative ways to talk to them too, or to communicate with them. So it's like we also are in this weird mutual ground where we kind of half speak the other's language to each other, just kind of make it easier for the other side. But that's about it. Um, and major applause to my parents for doing that for me. You know, And but yeah, it was always just picking it up. But because how my brain's been oriented when it comes to the subject matter of like school, like or an institutional teaching style of school, is kind of what pushes me away from like actually like fully adopting the language or fully adapting to those to a subject like that.
So how would you, I mean, would you prefer just being immersed into the language, you learn a lot quicker, or do you want to learn the language and then learn how to read it and write it? Is that how?
I would rather be immersed in the entire culture and pick up a book to learn along the way in conjunction with while being submersed into the culture. So I mean, like for example, when you and I went to Germany, it
Mhm.
was it was a lot easier for me to pick up on communicative words when it came to like when it came to the actual situation that's presented in front of me. And uh, yeah, like that made it made the experience a lot more um, meaningful. But once I'm removed from it, and then it stops becoming meaningful, then I kind of just drop off. Same thing for Japan too. I just kind of picked up on it, and I already had experience speaking Japanese, so that interest was ramped up to like 100. So I picked up like really freaking quick. But yeah, it's just that's something I still fail at to this day, but not because I don't want to. It's more like it's circumstance.
Got
And
it.
you know, yeah. And it's like realistically, yeah, it just as cool as it is, it does not sync up with my lifestyle. So, so you got another one for us?
I do got another one. It's witty banter.
Oh, you mean all of
Co-
Beef Tongue?
Conversation? Yeah. Well, I mean, if I have to do it with strangers, I hate it. So I don't. I mean, for me, like I feel like if someone's like trying to have a conversation with me, I always feel like they're what's their my thing is like, what's your fucking intention? Why are you talking to me? And then for me, like to like me and then me like to talk back to them is like it's not worth it because that I think they're thinking like me is like, why are you coming to talk to me? Right. And sometimes I give off the wrong energy. I think that's the main reason.
Hold on,
It's not
when I came up to you, I was just like, I hope he doesn't smell that fart in his car.
but yeah, it's like and I don't think in general, I don't think a lot, I mean, like that witty banter normally with between people is always when they're flirting with each other and stuff like that. But uh, for me, it's like and initially I don't think when I'm talking to people, it's just like it's I don't think people are interested enough where they're like I don't think they're like interested enough to like hold those conversations stuff because I think that like I'm a they think they think my intentions are sinister in nature, but like I'm not. I was like, I'm like in actual life, I'm actually pretty friendly and easy to talk to. But it's just like, can you hold on those conversations with people long enough to make them understand, like, oh, you're not here for any wrongdoing. I mean, wrongdoings and stuff like that. But in general, that's the conversation we're getting from alpha people. So I mean,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, I can
Well,
do it, but like I feel like sometimes with people's reactions, like I fail with it a lot of the times because they don't know if I'm joking or being serious and stuff like that. So maybe that's
Do
maybe
you
that's where I'm missing out.
do you ever feel like you're misreading people's intention?
No, for me, like no, I'm not misreading, but I think they misread my intentions. I
Mm.
think that's it. Right.
So like, so do you ever feel okay? So
So
then
like
that hmm,
just know like I'm not from a small town. I'm from a big city and stuff like that. So in general, we don't talk to strangers at all, right? In general, like
hmm,
when you live in the city, you're not meant to talk like strangers and stuff like that. So I get that part. But
hmm.
yeah, in general, I really don't like enjoying talking to people unless we're in the same fields or it's same interests, right? And sometimes you just don't want to.
Hold on, you and I do not have the same interest. I'll tell you that
No, we
right
don't.
now.
No, we don't. But like for me in general, like I avoid conversation with random people because I don't want to go have them go off on a tangent. Like, yeah, I get it. I don't want to hear about your whole life story. So same thing when I'm like in the Uber, like I don't want to talk to nobody. Like when they try to have a conversation with me, I'm like, forget it. I don't want to have a whole conversation. I'm not trying to get to know your life.
Uh, I mean, I guess, uh, and that's fine too. Because then, but like, okay, so tell me more about like this whole thing about like what like your gut feeling of what is your intention. Like, what do you usually pick up from people?
You know, I just don't think people like I just don't think people like uh I don't know. It's just like talking to people. It's like I'm not sure what kind of energy I give off, but like people don't like, okay, well, I'm gonna go over here because what value do you have from talking to you? Right. I think that's the general energy that comes off. Right. It's like, oh, why would I talk to
Oh,
you?
okay.
What benefit do you have for talking to you? It's like, why not talk to a stranger and enjoy it? And like, right. Even if it's like an event's like, let's say if you're at like a convention or stuff like that, I'm like, uh, it always happens like that, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, but like yeah, I don't do the witty banter with people just because I feel like I don't think they have the time or are willing to chat, right?
Mm.
Uh,
I
or
mean,
or I don't realize like I'm terrible at it and I don't realize it.
mm,
But yeah, like
well,
I'm about to go to like a work event in like 2 days and like I have to talk to people. So my thing is like 2 minutes max and then I'm out. Like talk to
mm,
each and everyone 2 minutes and then I'm out.
it depends for me. It's like depends on what kind of social event it is. It's just like is it really one where I can kind of let loose? Because I just went to a work event too, so it's like there's ones where you are doing a show, but it's like you have to keep in mind like whose brand you're representing at the same time. So it's like it's like yeah, you can have a little bit of fun, but it's just like just remember where you are, type of thing. Like you have to be cognizant about it. But in terms of like situations where you get to like full on like, hey, you know what, like fuck the work duties for the day. We're good. Nothing's on fire, and then you get to let loose, type of thing. Then yeah, I'm a bit more open with that. Where it's like yeah, like honestly, I'm here to have fun just like you. So it's like my idea of fun is as long as you and I aren't hurting each other, then we're good. You know, but pretty much.
I don't even talk to my coworkers like that. So I like forget it. I don't want
Mm,
HR is right there. I'm not gonna have you make an excuse. Right. So like I don't joke around. I think even at work, people know like I don't like to make those small talk conversations or even joke around because I don't want them to miss. I don't want to like joke and make a joke about them and then have them get offended and then report me to HR. I'm like, forget it. I'm not gonna avoid that as much as possible. Forget it.
I but with that, I do also feel like there's like a certain trade-off too, where it's like, you know, not tit for tat or quid pro quo, whatever you want to call it, but it's just like, you know, it's like, okay, like if you're gonna act a fool about things a little bit, I'm okay reciprocating with that, where it's like, you know, like you showed off that you could look dumb in front of me, and I don't mind doing the same thing for you in that respect. And there's always like a level and a scale on how that happens, because it's just like, you know, obviously, you know, if you trip and you're like, whoa, okay, whatever. I'm not gonna freaking full on like fly off a building and just like you know, land on a car or something like that. You know, it's just like certain scales, and it's just like, you know, and that's sort of the dance there, where it's like, you know, you're like, I'll do something to help make you feel comfortable. You did something to help make me feel comfortable, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of like that. I think that's a thing that I always typically encourage, because it's just like, yeah, we're all here to have fun, and it's just like, you know, um, at the end of the day, I'm just like you. I'm just another person. You know, I'm a human being. I have feelings, emotions. And I like to have fun, and I like to do things that I typically tend to pursue things that make me smile and make me happy. You know, and it's just like, you know, offering the same thing to you is kind of my thing. Um, yeah. Let me see. Yeah. Let me see.
I don't. I don't even. No, not with my coworkers. Forget it. And it's like, I mean, great thing about remote working, it's you really don't have you really don't have to have those conversations, and you don't build. And the thing is, like, you don't build those relationships. It's not expected, right? It's a virtual thing.
mm, mm, yeah. I don't know. I've learned to have uh, a respect and a love for it, but I certainly can't push for it like other more social people do. Like my boss, this guy is like a straight. He's definitely got the gift of gab and a way to like articulate himself to where he it's hard for you not to like the guy. So it's like taking notes from him, but it's also just like we share a lot of common ground between he and I, but he's able to articulate his social side a lot better, and it's just like, you know, and he's able to make it a fun experience while doing that, even for, you know, more of an introvert like me. But um, like, and these are just kind of things I just started to pick up over the years. But anyways, let's see. Another thing that I fail at constantly is working out, just because yeah, I mean, it's hard to keep it at a lifestyle level where it's like consistently go hard every day and do the same exact thing and better the next day or the next week or whatever. It's more of a need of like, you know, for me it's more of a need of staying healthy, and, you know, making sure that things don't get a little bit too crazy on me, where it's like I'm too far I'm too far down the end of both spectrums, where I'm just either too lazy or just working out hardcore, don't really have a life outside of that type of thing. And I have fallen on both spectrums too. So it's like, yeah, It's not something that I can maintain consistently at a healthy pace. So it's a lot of me is just like go hard or go home type of thing. But I'm also learning to forgive myself in the sense that it's just like it's okay, just try again. You know, there's no need to you don't got to prove anything to anyone. You know, type of thing. It's like you just do it because you want it for yourself. Don't do it because of the fact that you're trying to attain like this aesthetic or something like that. But yeah, it's just taking those steps to just maintain that level of balanced health. And you know, great if it'll be great if I look good in the process. Like at the end of it, and it's just like, cool. You know, I'm fighter fit and everything, and you know, I have something else to be proud of. But it's just having that balance of my own health is probably the most important thing. But yeah, and I think the other thing too is just my constant need to create more and more goals and probably never achieve them properly or not achieve them in their fullest potential. Say that because like right now, you know, as you and I are doing this podcast, it's pretty much like it's being done as a quote unquote like trial / passion project, and it's just you know my level of commitment into it is to follow the schedule, but you know wanting to push it to develop into something much bigger is you know that's also a limitation on how much effort I wanted to put into it or I'm willing to put into it. But it's also a matter of like you know like how well I can commit myself to collaborating and also growing the podcast the way that I would have intended it to. But yeah. Any closing thoughts, Colin?
No, nothing for me. I'm starving. That's why. It's like,
and with that, this is the last episode of the podcast. Turn off the lights.
I guess.
All right.